one. Welcome back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. Another special, well, really special interview this evening for us. I'm your host, Adam Cousins, as always. Conspicuous by their absence, Fiona Lochran, number one. I'm not happy with you, Fee, nor is our guest. But anyway, number two, Dave would be here as well, but he is working away very hard. As everybody knows on the channel, he does his own boiler company. So he actually fits boilers for people like Driller Mahoney, I think. Anyway. But without further ado, let's introduce our guests now. Those WWE fans that follow NXT and NXT UK will be very familiar. And those people that live in Scotland and have been on the Scottish scene and probably the UK scene will also be very familiar with our guest. He was a one-third of the member of Gallus. It is Wolfgang. How are you?
I'm doing, Adam. Thank you very much for having me on.
Ah, well, your absolute pleasure. And I think we may have the weather warmer than what you've got it at the moment, which is quite a.
I don't know, that's man. I'm in Florida. It gets pretty warm here. I'll tell you how it's 32 degrees outside right now,
Not
and
so good.
I'm still degrees Celsius. I've never bothered to try and understand Fahrenheit. They keep telling me Fahrenheit out here, so I've got my phone set to Celsius all the time, and it's pretty warm outside.
If it helps, me too. I don't do that. But yeah, okay, maybe not so much warmer. But amazing thing is happening in the UK. The sun is shining, and as you know, living in Scotland, that very rare that we have that.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. Look, Wolfgang, I'm going to start with the obvious. Recently, you had that dreaded number call you from Stanford with the news that whatever reason they gave you to release you from your contract to WWE. You were quite a long list at that time of names. There was a couple that surprised me. That as you'll get yourself, Joe and Mark, and I think Cora Jade was another one that was quite surprising at the time. Look, how was it when you first got that call, and now the dust has settled a little bit? How are you feeling about it?
It was obviously very difficult at the time. No one really wants to get that call. You hear about people asking for their release, and sometimes I think that's them just testing the water to see how much they really want them. But actually getting the phone call and telling us that the contract has been terminated was a hard take. Um, my wife was sitting next to the sofa on me at the time, and I just leaned over to her and I says, "That's it. That's us done." So that was 8 years of working for the WWE since the inaugural UK Championship tournament back in 2017, starting up WWE UK, which eventually became NXT UK
Mhm.
in 2019 at the
Yeah.
Albert Hall, or was that
Yeah.
18? Could have been 18.
Yeah, maybe.
Um, and then of everything we've done in NXT UK and eventually getting moved over here for a couple of years. Um, a lot of people when they come here, they get told, especially the professional athletes, they get told when you make it to main roster. They never get told if you make it to main roster.
Mm.
So I was always thinking if we ever make it. It was never a guarantee, and it's not a guarantee for anybody. So I'm lucky to have spent 8 years with them, learning from some of the best to ever do it. The coaches, the producers, the guys that I was working with, especially when I got up to like main roster and we got to do some main event stuff.
Mm.
At that point, you're starting to work with guys that are a caliber above you, which wasn't always the case. And whenever we got the chance to work with someone more experienced than us, we were very grateful for it. But getting the phone call at the time, I was upset and I felt sorry for myself and I felt as though I'd let myself down, Mark and Joe and a few others. But having a month to kind of think about it now and look at the bigger picture, like I'm going to get to go home, I'm going to get to see my family more, I'm going to get to be involved with my wrestling gym, Iron Girders more,
Hmm.
um, see my friends wrestle the way I want to wrestle, and yeah, just get back to being a professional wrestler because I think you almost lose that a little bit when you go to work for a big company like WWE, where the wrestling comes secondary to it.
Mm.
Like you can be the best wrestler in the world, but if it doesn't fit with our programming, then it doesn't really matter. So I'm excited to just get back to the UK, start mixing it up with some of the people that are still going who I used to work with, and then a lot of the guys that I've never had the chance to step in the ring with who are making a bit of noise for themselves. So yeah, getting the phone call, getting the contract terminated was rough, but now that's in the rear view mirror. I'm looking ahead to what's next, and other than one or two things lined up, there isn't much, which is a bit intimidating. But I think once we kind of get back to the UK, hit the ground running, once we get this visa sorted for returning to the US, then hopefully doors start to open for us. So yeah, we're feeling good at this point. We're excited about what's ahead, and we're kind of over getting the phone call. We're angry, we're bitter, and we want to show that we're worth more than what they were portraying us as. Because we
Yeah,
didn't really get a chance, especially Joe Coffey. He didn't really get a chance to show off exactly what he can do. Myself and Mark Coffey won the tag titles in the UK and the US, and Mark even won the Heritage Cup
yeah,
championship. So it was a shame to see someone as talented as Joe Coffey not really get um, the light shine on him that he should have. So yeah, getting the phone call was rough, but as I said a second ago, we're just angry and bitter and want to show what we can do.
yeah, exactly that. And you will. There's also, there's a lot of, potential avenues that you can take now as well, which is a good thing that there is more options. I think Joe actually tweeted the other day, and I retweeted it and commented about the NWA. Because me and Fiona really loved watching that, so it was nice to see him do that as well. And I was just like, "Yep," like, tweeted out to NWA, "Yep, get these on board," because obviously we know how good and talented you really are. Um, but yeah,
I
it
think
is a shame.
NWA would be a perfect fit. That would be a perfect fit for us. There's a few places that we'd like to see ourselves in, but I know they had the Crockett Cup that Mark and
Yeah.
I were trying to keep an eye on. I think they kind of it's past us this year, but
Mm.
that's something that Mark and I would definitely like to be involved in. Or even I know Mark and I are the tag team, but any combination of the three of us, like you put Mark and Joe in together, obviously you get the brother tag team. You put me and Joe in together, it's two big heavyweights slugging at it. And then me and Mark are the ones that have actually brought gold home a few times. So yeah, Gallus and NWA is exciting for all three of us, like the possibility of it.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, they did it. We did indeed mention that 'cause they did record the Crockett Cup quite recently. It's not been aired yet, but me and Fiona did mention it this week when we do our
I
NWA
just
reviews. We mentioned Gallus in the Crockett Cup, and we'd love to see it. So we'll see.
appreciate
You will see Fiona because she's just messaged to say that she's coming on in about 10 minutes. So you'll be able to see her. So she will be joining us on the show, which is nice. Well, you mentioned there that you did do the bit on main event and the main roster. Was there any discussions of you coming up to the main roster? And if there was there any sort of programs discussed, or was it just you're on main event, this is it, and that's just your test, and then we'll take it from there?
Yeah, and no one ever discussed it with us that we would go to main roster. Nothing directly. There was whispers and there was hearsay, and we'd heard this person had said that to them, and
Hmm.
you couldn't really put weight behind anything because they say a lot of stuff and not all of it comes true. So, but mid 2023, I think, is when there would have been a plan for us to be involved. Um, Mark and I came over in January that year. We won the titles off the New Day quite quick.
Hmm.
And Joe was stuck in the UK again with some visa processes. Some take longer than others. So he had to wait for his to come through. Mark and I had already got ours. So by the time he showed up, I think there was a plan for us to go straight to main roster or to be there within a couple of months of Joe showing up. Because if you look at the Survivor Series 2023 program, the only NXT talent that are featured in that is Gallus.
Yeah.
And fast forward to the 2024 Royal Rumble, we were in the main event, the main roster program again,
Mm.
with no sign of anyone from NXT. So that to me says that there was a plan in place for us to be there. We were on a full page spread next to Drew McIntyre, and we'd had a private meeting with Drew to discuss the prospect of us perhaps being involved with him. But that's just friends like fantasy booking at this point and giving Drew ammunition to go and pitch something for us. So can't say that it was ever 100% officially on the cards. But when you look at the evidence, it's hard to think that there wasn't a plan for us to be on the main roster a long time ago.
Mm. I would have loved that. You guys and Drew. That's a mouth-watering concept, really, wasn't it?
You know what? Like, never say never. Like, this is just a bump in the road, and one day we might end up back there, and Drew might need help one day, and maybe Gallus will be there to help them. But in the time being, he's on his own, and we have to go kind of create a bit of noise for ourselves now.
And exactly, and you will do that, and hopefully Drew's resting up well from. I know he's got a few injuries at the minute, so hopefully he's getting on okay. But look, enough about the release. Enough about all of that. Now we're gonna, as you say, it's a bump in the road. We're gonna move on as well. Now, when I've interviewed, and this will be the first time I've done it with, I would say, sort of WWE stars or stars that have made it big in America. I ask random questions. Now, normally I do this with the independents or with not, but I'm going to give it to you today, and I think that that's going to be you're going to be my guinea pig for the sort of the bigger names. So a lot of these are random questions, and they're wrestling related, but they are generally random that I've just thought of that's come to me. And the first one on that list is look, wrestling is about great theme music. When I grew up during the Attitude Era, the glass would smash, or the Undertaker's gong would hit, or and it just instantly got you. And the one that particularly gives me goosebumps because I was there was when Brock Lesnar returned in Miami just after the day after WrestleMania. That I was in that building. I think it was the Miami Airlines Arena. His music hit. The place went absolutely crazy. I got goosebumps at that point. Probably when I'm at home watching it, anytime I hear Edge's music, it does that. But for you, Wolfgang, is there any music that when you hear it, the hairs still stand up to this day?
Um, you mentioned the glass smashing there. I don't think there's any other song that has that immediate initial reaction of Stone Cold's music hitting the glass smashing and realizing he's coming out to
Mm.
kick the proverbial out of someone.
Shit.
Um, I've, I've seen. I think the first time I heard it was the Attitude Adjustment Tour, 1998 or nine,
Mm.
and we were in Birmingham, NEC, and like the main event was Stone Cold, The Undertaker. It was a who's who of Attitude Era at the time. Everybody was there. Um, so that would have been the first time I heard his music, and then fast forward to any WWE live event I was able to get to, and eventually when I was going to the events as part of the roster or the NXT roster, getting to go to WrestleMania and being out in the crowd watching it
Mm.
while Stone Cold's glass hits. I just don't think there's anything that will give me that initial excitement and takes me right back to being a fan again. Just there's other musics that I enjoy, but just for sheer excitement, the smash of that glass, the beat of just Stone Cold Steve Austin's music, it's hard to beat that. You
Is
don't
there
get
any?
to hear it that often either. Like
No.
it doesn't show up. It doesn't like Shawn Michaels, great music.
Mm.
Whenever I used to hear it, I'd get excited and surprised because it was rare. But I feel as though you can almost expect him to show up sometimes,
Yeah.
whereas Stone Cold can show up whenever you least expect it and hit some stunners on someone. So I think the Stone Cold Steve Austin number one.
It's quite interesting because obviously we're in an age now where people sing some songs as well on but it's interesting. A lot of people say that one or the Undertaker's one because, and it's got no words. It's literally just a glass smash and a beat, and it does it. Romans was the same. It's that whole, but he also gives you the thing that you kind of said it, the glass smash, someone's getting the shit kicked out of them. Roman's Reigns music hits, the tribal chief is on his way out and everything just, and so it's really good how the music doesn't need lyrics as such to make a big impact in wrestling.
Although I do like, was it the Ruthless Aggression album when Stone Cold maybe turned heel and he was coming out to a song that had lyrics to it?
Disturbed. Was it Disturbed?
Disturbed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that
going
was
to
good.
sing a little bit of it, but I don't want to embarrass myself. But yeah,
Me too.
they, they did change it up a little bit
Yes.
and they put lyrics to it, but you can't beat the original. You can't beat old school Stone Cold, glass smashes, guitar riff, and
Yeah.
drum beat, and he's coming out to stun or someone.
Yeah, that is. Do you know what though? I did actually love Gallus's music more. The first one before it come out. The second one, it was kind of the same, but I don't know. The first one just I don't know hit different.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
The first one was, I think it was royalty free, and it was called Beat Me,
Yes, beat you.
and
Yes.
it was by a guy called Dominic. I can't remember his second name, but that had the Stone Cold glass smash effect that we wanted. It was that initial boom, like
Yeah.
a big, massive beat, and it was the
Mm.
first thing you heard, and it set fear into your opponents. Hi, Fiona.
Hi, how are you? I'm so sorry I'm late.
Don't worry, nice to see you.
I knew you're looking well. Sorry for interrupting you in mid-show there.
So we had a kind of similar effect of the Stone Cold Steve Austin glass smash, where the original Gallus music had that like thunderous beat,
Yeah.
and maybe the best example of it might be when we returned in 2023. Mark and I, we'd been over in 2022 August, had a few matches, and then we were arrested and sent home. And when Mark and I came back, Pretty Deadly were in the ring. I think there was maybe like a gauntlet, like a tournament. New Day were standing on the aisle with their tag titles, and Pretty Deadly had just gone through a bunch of other teams. And then there's a reaction video of um, Kit Wilson and Elton, and the reaction in their faces when that first beat hits is exactly the reaction that we want to instill in people. It felt like Stone Cold's smash having that first thud. And when we lost that, it did feel like we had one of the tools taken off of us because music is such a big part of professional wrestling. And when you find the one that works and the one that sticks, everyone loved that first theme. And the only reason I can think that they changed it is so that they could make money off it and have their own version of it. And the
Yeah.
one they had was fine. We spoke to them and we changed it around a little bit, trying to make it similar to the first one where we had that initial
Mm.
thud. But yeah, the one that we've been coming out to in the WWE isn't the one that we want to come out to on the independent scenes or whatever else we end up. So
Yeah.
we're hoping that we can use the original one and get back to that original feeling of dread that Gallus are coming.
Exactly that. Fiona, before just I know you have only just come on. Me and Wolfgang were talking about the prospect of Crockett Cup next year
Oh man, I would so love to see that. So love to see that.
in the NWA. That would be
Mark and I
great.
have been talking about it. It would be
Yeah,
good.
that would
Yeah.
be that would be incredible.
We done the Dusty Cup. We've done the Dusty Classic
Mm,
twice. I think we get put out the first year by Undisputed Era, and then the second time we done it, we were put out with the guys that won it, Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker. So we've been in a couple of prestigious tournaments, but the Crockett Cup is the one that kind of has the history behind it, and
Yeah.
it's the one that I guess the real pro wrestlers want to hold, and it's the tournament they want to win, and that's me, Mark, and Joe consider ourselves professional wrestlers first and foremost. So I think the Crockett Cup would be a great thing for myself, Mark, and Joe to be aiming for next year.
I love to hear it.
I was thinking for Southern Six versus Gallus.
I'd be down for that. Yeah. The three of you against Alex, Kerry, and Silas would be marvelous.
Silas is actually a guy that I've been keeping an eye on over the years. I'm a bit of a fan of his. Whenever I see him on a card, I'm looking forward to watching his matches. So to be able to get in with somebody like that and mix it up, I'd love that chance.
Yeah, I think you would have a banger, as they say.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Second round of question before we move on. Who's the strongest wrestler that you've actually been in the ring with? Not necessarily in the WWE, it could be on the independents for that matter.
Yeah. The biggest wrestler I've ever been in the ring with was just during a training camp at the PC over here. The Big Show, Paul White,
Yeah.
was in a ring, and I think he was training for a comeback, or he was like trying to take a couple of bumps. He needed someone to throw a hip toss to hit him with a hip toss. So Norman Smiley was looking around the room and he clocked me, and I guess thought I was strong enough or at least safe enough to hit Paul White with a hip toss and look after him. So I ran over to the ring, got in, looked away up at him. All right, big man. He says, "Do you know how to hit a hip toss?" I went, "Yes, I do." And we threw him off the ropes. He hit the ropes. He came back, went boom, right over the top of me. He took a big, massive flip bump. Got himself back up, shook my hand, and said, "Right, thank you." So, but that's the biggest and strongest guy I've ever been in the vicinity of in any sort of wrestling environment. There was, I don't often get thrown around, but Julius Creed of the Creed brothers is just a naturally strong, gifted athlete. He's been throwing people around since he was 2 years old, since he's been competing since he was 3 years old.
Wow, okay.
So when he get in the ring with us, we've had a couple of NXT pay-per-views with him or TV matches, and we've even done main event with him up on the main roster. So he's a grab and throw kind of guy, and in professional wrestling, wink, wink, you kind of give them a little jump as you go, but not with him. He would just grab you and throw you, and didn't really matter to him what way you were going to land. He just knew you were going up in the air and coming down again. So
just brace yourself.
Yeah, just tuck your chin, grit your teeth, and go. I actually seen a clip the other night where we must have been one of the battlegrounds or something, but he took the tag off of Brutus, and then he jumped in the ring and he threw me and Mark around like 5 times each, overhead belly to bellies, and he nipped up after every one of them. So when you look at someone like the Big Show, you think that's a big, strong man. When you look at Julius Creed, he's quite deceivingly strong. So that's the two scales of it, I guess. I can't really think of anyone off the top of my head just now. There was a guy we used to train at in Scotland. He's a professional bodybuilder. Kiffy West, his name is.
Yeah, we know
done a little bit of wrestling.
Kiffy, but
bodybuilder, so he looks the part. And before he stopped training in professional wrestling to focus on being a clean bodybuilder, he's huge. He's so strong. He picked me up and threw me around a couple of times, and I just felt like it was nothing to him. And I'm between 260 and 270 pounds. I forgot why that is in stone. I've been away for too long, but I wasn't light, and he's maybe a considerable bit shorter than me, but he's so strong. He looks like an Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He's not that tall, really, from what I can remember. It's been a long time since I've seen him, but he's not like a 6'6" imposing guy or anything like that.
But if you see him in the ring and you see him with his gear and his boots on, he has the kind of, he carries himself a lot bigger than what you think he is. And it helps that he's just got muscles on muscles. He picked me up for an F5 and it just felt like he was throwing a pillow around. So that's maybe my three.
Interesting. Fee, we've already discussed the release and everything, so we've moved on from that. But do you have any questions before I move on?
No, fire away and I'll
All right.
catch up. It's
You'll catch
fine.
up. Perfect. Brilliant. So, look, you spent a lot of time in the Performance Center over in America, as well as the UK as well. But what is a typical day in the life in the Performance Center for a wrestler?
So you're scheduled in depending on your ability. Someone like me that's been doing it 20 years, I don't need to be in the PC every single day, every single class. You get scheduled in, and then you've got the ones that you kind of put yourself forward for. So typically, you would have at least an hour in the gym at the PC, where the strength and conditioning coaches will put you through a program that they've been building, that they want to be building athletes. So it's all functional training geared towards professional wrestling. The best coach we had was Sean Hayes, who now works for the XFL, I think.
Okay.
Either that or the NFL, but he's a American football coach, which is where he came from. First met him in 2017, and he worked at the PC up until we built the UK PC. So Sean Hayes was programmed for building athletes and explosiveness. So a lot of the movements that you'll do in the gym aren't typically what you would see a bodybuilder doing, where it's just strictly lifting weights. There's a lot of kind of dynamic movements with the Sean Hayes program. And it's all geared towards making you better in the ring, making you more explosive or faster or, I guess, fitter and safer. So every day, 4 or 5 times a week, you'll be in the gym. You'll also have a ring training class where you'll be assigned a coach. For example, Robbie Brookside. Everyone goes through him when they first show up because he's just the master when it comes to fundamentals and instilling. You need to have this sort of internal belief that you're a professional wrestler and you're a fighter, and you have to portray that. Robbie Brookside's fantastic at getting that out of people. I feel as though he's the guy that helped me become more aggressive in the ring and tap into that sort of more aggressive side of me. My dog's trying to come up here.
Oh, we're used to this on the show.
Eddie! He's so cute.
We normally have Fiona's cat, so it's normally.
You see his tail
I've
stoking about.
seen the tail. I've seen the tail kicking around. Maybe Eddie's looking for the cat.
Possibly.
So every day in the PC, Monday to Friday, you've got him or you're in the ring for 2 hours, either with Robbie Brookside when you start, but then you'll progress on to, I'm probably going to leave some names out here, but Norman Smiley, Fit Finlay, Carino, Steve Carino, who else is in there? You've got Oni Lorcan in there, you've got Wesley Blake, like some of the best guys that you could possibly help to learn from. I was lucky enough to get in the ring with a lot of the coaches and learn from them, and each of them has their own specialities when they're teaching you. Terry Taylor, he doesn't get enough credit for what he does. If there's ever a chance for you to interview him or get him on any sort of platform to interview him, he's got so many great stories, and he was an integral part to so much that we watched through the 80s and the 90s. What you would do with Terry is a skull class, and it's basically theory. I don't know where they got skull from. I guess your brain's in your head, that's your skull, so we'll call it skull class. Tape review, and you would sit and watch your matches back or matches on the main roster like Hogan and The Rock, and you would try and pick them apart with Terry explaining to you what's happening, why it's happening, and he's got first-hand experience of being there. In fact, he even put on, I think it was Whitney Houston singing the American national anthem one time. And the point was, like, I can sit here and sing the national anthem to you, or you can listen to this one, like world class singer performing it and bringing out all the emotion in it. And he was applying that to pro wrestling.
Okay.
Like any wrestler can come out and do these moves, A, B, and C, hip toss, arm drag, suplex. But then someone like Roman Reigns comes out and does it, and it's got a completely different feel to it. It's got, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just
Mm.
so much evidence that knows what they're doing. So your classes are basically made up of you're in the ring, you're with all the other wrestlers. I think Adam Page, he's there. Adam Page. No, Adam Page. Who's Adam Page? Ethan Page.
I was going to
So
say
Ethan
Hangman.
Page has just showed up. Ethan Page has just showed up. He's held the titles, but he's still going into the ring and training and trying to get himself better. And um, that's what you're scheduled in for. In ring training, you're in the gym. You might have tape study with Terry or someone else, and then you'll have promo class where you're just in practicing promos all the time. They'll give you certain scenarios. They'll tell you, right, you're fighting Adam and you're coming up for a match on Raw is War. Go. And you get a minute or however to try and sell that match. So the PC is like a one-stop shop. They cover all bases and every element that you would need to be the best professional wrestler. On top of that, I've got like additional classes, open ring, where you can drop in and work with people that you don't normally get to work with, or maybe you get some new things that you want to work on individually that you don't want to take up time in Fit Finley's class. So yeah, if you wanted, you could be in the PC all day, every day, making yourself better and learning from the best in the world. It's a really, really good program.
Yeah.
Did they also put you through, like, did you have nutritionists and stuff as well on board to help you with your diet and things like that? Or was that something that they kind of left you to kind of do yourself?
No, there is a nutritionist sitting in the gym every day, and she'll have meetings with all the wrestlers, and she'll be the one that'll write out. She'll sit down with you, see what your diet's like, what your goals are, and she'll give you a step by step. Here's what you should be eating. Meal one. Here's meal two. Here's your snacks. Like they provide everything for you. There's no reason why you can't be the best version of yourself. So whether it's even when it comes to like giving lectures on concussions and looking after yourself, like they had Chris Nowinski come in a
Mm.
couple of times when I was there, who was an old WWE
Yeah.
wrestler and got a bad head injury, and who now he's like the leading guy behind concussions in sports and trying to treat them the same way that you would any other injury, with the same sort of gravity and seriousness as breaking your leg. You get hit in the head, it's just as serious, if not more serious, because it's harder to repair.
Yeah.
So every aspect of professional wrestling that you could think of, they've tailor-made this building to help everyone that comes through the doors. Whether you're, but I think by the time I showed up here, I'd started in 2002, first match 2003, got signed to the WWE 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a lot of experience before I got here. Whereas you've got professional athletes who have genuinely never watched WWE, don't have a clue who that guy in the corner is with a cowboy hat on is. That's Shawn Michaels. You probably should know who he is. But these guys get tryouts at WrestleMania and they get an invite through Instagram. Let's say you're a professional shot putter, but you're not exactly where you want to be. There's people on Instagram working for the WWE that will reach out to all these athletes and offer them a tryout
Mm-hmm.
and then say to them, come to WrestleMania. And they'll show them the spectacle of WrestleMania and go, this is what you could have. Um, And it's a shame because these guys don't have a clue.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, they've never seen professional wrestling. They've been taught their whole life, 100%, hard as you can, give it everything you've got. And then myself, Mark Coffey, Joe Coffey, and everybody else that knows what they're doing, we're the crash test dummies for these guys, basically. Where
That
they
must
try
be
and figure
quite difficult from your point of view, getting in a ring with someone and training with someone at times who maybe just doesn't know that a punch isn't a full force, 100%. Like,
yeah, it's intimidating and it's daunting, but if we don't do it, who is going to do it? Because it's better I get in with you and work around you and try and keep myself safe and you, rather than two guys that don't have a clue what they're doing are
yeah,
just going to bust each other up, drop each other. Like, I could move to you, and if you don't know what it is and we don't go at the right time and the timing's off, there's a good chance I'm going to get hurt or you're going to get hurt.
yeah.
When you're in the ring, even when you're training, you need to be switched on, aware of what you're doing, and confident in your own ability. So I won't go into the details, but there's been a few times where I've seen people getting treated like crash test dummies to make sure that this athlete can learn how to do an arm drag, but then that athlete isn't picking it up. So cheerio, you're out the
Yeah.
door. Let's try the next guy.
Mm.
Meanwhile, that pro wrestler who was doing his best to try and help your guys through is he's hurt now, and the guy that you were trying to fix is gone with no chance of getting better. So
Mm.
yeah, that was a bit of a minefield trying to navigate all that. But again, if we don't do it, then who's going to do it? Like, I'd heard a few times from coaches, you have to pay it forward,
Mm.
and what they mean is just teach these new guys how to do the job, because Matt Bloom, the A train, isn't going to be getting in the ring with these guys, but
Mm.
he's got a list of things that he needs these guys to learn. Um, Finlay and Norman, they're not going to be throwing themselves around and giving their bodies to these 300 pounds professional athletes who go everything full force. So you need guys like me. You need guys like Mark Coffey and Joe Coffey who can show the new guys the job, how to do it properly. It's not just learning moves and having a cool entrance. It's learning how to work properly.
And safely, I
I went
presume, as well. Yeah.
safely is the main thing.
Yeah.
Like, safety is key. Safety first, danger erring taught us, and that's something I live by, especially in the ring. Like Mark Coffey, he used to say to everyone, "Now the word of the day is safety." Everyone comes back safe. No
Yeah.
one goes away hurt, because chances are, if you're doing this full time, like look at BT Gunn, one of my
Mm.
best mates. He's the busiest wrestler in the world right now, and
Yeah.
that's how he's making a living. If he gets in there with some daft athlete that wants to throw him up in the air and drop him on his head, BT Gunn might not be able to make money the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, you have to protect your opponent. I'll
Mm.
look after you, you look after me, but let's pretend to everyone else we're beating the living shit out of each other.
Yeah. Exactly that. Speaking of training, you did help a certain experienced head, so to speak, I believe, there being Dwayne The Rock Johnson recently. How was that for you? And did he give advice, or was you just literally there to help him get into ring ready shape, so to speak?
Yeah, so leading up to WrestleMania 40, there wasn't any plans for Gallus to be there because they'd stopped doing, they used to do like WWE Access where they would
Yeah,
have like a,
Yeah.
I think they
yeah,
call it,
been there many a
called some,
times. Yeah.
something else now. Well, they used to have a ring set up and they would have people wrestling at it. And
Hmm.
if you weren't on any of the shows, there's a chance you might get to have a little trip and go to WrestleMania and be involved in one of them. Um, so there wasn't any plan for us to have any involvement in WrestleMania 40. And was it LA? Was that Hollywood? Was that the big one?
Hollywood, yeah, yeah, Hollywood,
Yeah.
yeah. It was Vegas, wasn't it? Yeah. So yeah, Hollywood.
So yeah, um, we got a message in the morning from the head coach of the PC, Matt Bloom, saying that you're going to pack a bag, you're flying to LA to train The Rock for WrestleMania. And he is a big wind-up merchant. He likes to laugh and he'll say things just to get a laugh out of you that aren't necessarily true. So none of us really believed it at the time, but he reassured us, no, this is happening. Pack your bags. The WWE will be in touch about travel. And yeah, sure enough, we got on a flight, flew over to LA. I don't know what happened the first day, but we were supposed to spend like a full week with them. We missed the first day, so we got a free day in LA, and I'd been there a couple of times, so I got to show the boys around like a bit of a tour guide. Um, we'd hired a car, and because we didn't have anywhere to be, we got training, went to the gym, got some lunch, and then we just drove around LA for a while, seeing all the spots. So that was a nice little free day. But the next day, The Rock showed up, and it was just straight to business. We were there to play the parts of the other guys in the match, so Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns, because they were like, I don't know what day this was, but they were busy elsewhere and they couldn't make it. So the match, I guess, had been put together with the other guys and the producers, which would have been Bobby Roode and Michael Hayes, and they were there with us, and they had the kind of blueprint of the match, what they wanted to happen, and it was all. I think it was a bit of a collaboration between The Rock and the producers and the other wrestlers, like what they had kind of input they'd put in it. So this wasn't really an opportunity for us to be asking advice or
Okay.
talking about ourselves. This we were there to do a job to get The Rock ready. So everything was focused on him and everything he had to do. And that, I don't mean that in a kind of like, he was super humble. He was very down to earth, easy to talk to, as if you were just standing at the bar with him. He was very relaxed, and he was funny. He's a funny guy, and he was having a laugh with us. It wasn't. He could have been standoffish. He could have treated us just like we were there to work for him, but he didn't. He was very nice to us. But yeah, the whole time we were there, it was just playing the part. I was his cousin. He kept referring to me as cuz because I'd be standing on the apron throwing up the ones whenever we were. It's strange watching the match back and knowing that we did a bit of a rehearsal for it,
Yeah.
and I could tell you as I was watching it what was happening and where our input was in the match, which was surprising to us too, because like first of all, the validation and the kind of respect that they must have for you to let you be responsible for getting The Rock ready for WrestleMania 40. The biggest star in the world, the biggest show in the world, and three guys from Glasgow are going to be the ones to get him ready and look after him. So to be trusted in that position means more than anything else I've done in my career. Like, there's big matches and there's big shows, but to be given that sort of stamp of approval that yeah, you're good enough and you're the guys that we trust to make sure The Rock is ready for WrestleMania 40. I don't know if there's any sort of bigger, yeah, stamp of approval than that.
Did you feel any pressure in that situation, or do you think because it was so last minute you didn't really have time to think about it?
Um, there was, I guess, a bit of pressure not to mess up. But again, I'm confident in my own ability.
Yeah.
I've been doing this more than 20 years. Mark and Joe, like, they're not far behind me, and we're all very, very good at what we do. So I think just to be trusted with that responsibility, we didn't question it.
Mm.
We thought, right, these guys have put us here for a reason. Let's show them that they're not making a mistake. And yeah, like, keep your mouth shut, keep your ears open. That's always been the case in professional wrestling. But there was a few times where the producers would be looking for something to add in, or they would be looking for a solution. And it just helps having an extra set of eyes and a few more wrestling brains there to
Yeah.
try and put these things together. So it was obviously a pressure not to mess up, but I don't think any of us really felt nervous or that we weren't going to be able to deliver here. Like we knew exactly what we were capable of, what we can offer, and what we bring to the table. And after it, it was all smiles. Like The Rock had such a good time the first day that he decided the next day he was going to bring his 7 Cents production company with him. So the next day he showed up, there was cameras everywhere recording everything, and I hope we get to see it someday because
Yeah.
it was just this little warehouse in the middle of nowhere, like unsuspecting you would think anything is going on in here, but you walk in and there's a full size WWE ring and The Rock just kicking around, and he's the funny thing to me was he obviously wanted to wrestle in his gear, so he had the next day he had his boots, his knee pads, and his trunks on and a top. And there's the photo of the four of us standing by the ring with our phone, with our arms folded. And immediately after that photo was taken, all he did was pick up a bag, put his sunglasses on, and walk out the door to where his security guard was waiting in a car. So he just left in his wrestling trunks, walking around with his legs out.
As you
I'm
do.
thinking, like, as The Rock does. Like, I don't think I could do it. But if you're him, yeah, straight into your car, get dressed on the way to the airport, wherever he was going. Um, yeah, it was good. We didn't feel intimidated by it at all. We were just excited to be there and to be involved and to have that responsibility. And now we've got that going for us. That I don't know if you watched WrestleMania 40, but I
Yes,
think they won that first night, and
they did.
that's
Yeah,
thanks to us.
Yes, it is. Gas boys on top always, right? That was
absolutely.
the way to do it, indeed. Wolfgang, we're starting to wrap up in a second here, but before we do, just give us an idea about, you said about iron girders earlier on. Talk to us a bit about that in a bit more detail.
So Iron Girders is a professional wrestling gym in Glasgow. It's the only fully equipped strength and conditioning facility with everything you need to become a professional wrestler. If you want to do weight training, resistance training, cardiovascular training, and of course, wrestling training. It's in the East End of Glasgow. I own it. And the head coaches are BT Gunn, Kez Evans, Casey Owens. We've got Prince Levi looking after the beginners with Martin McAllister and the KOE. It's very much, it's a bit of a family. Like they like to describe it as a family. Like we're all here to help each other. Um, we do beginners to advanced intermediates. We cover all levels. We've had people from, in fact, we've had people from around the world travel to come train with us. It's something that I've been in 2019. I was training in this little gym, middle of nowhere, in an industrial state in Parkhead, and I thought this is so quiet, and the membership costs so little. There's no way it's sustainable. And then, sure enough, the owners put the building up and the gym up for sale. And I was the only person interested in it. There was no other offers coming in, and the price kept coming down and down. So I won't tell you what I got it for, but it was a decent price compared to what he was initially offering, and it was too good to pass up. And at this point, it was just a gym. It wasn't a wrestling gym. We still had clientele that were coming in that had nothing.
Gone.
Oh no, we lost you, I think.
I think, yeah, maybe
Oh, we'll be back in a sec.
he will be back. We'll,
I've been in Gerda's gym a couple of times.
have you?
It's fabulous. It's proper old school. Loads of Wolfgang's posters and stuff. Loads of WWE memorabilia. Loads of old ringside chairs. So like the front row chairs that you get. There's loads of them. So if the fans are coming in for shows, they are available for the fans to sit on from loads of different events. You've got Rumble ones, Mania ones, Elimination Chamber, Money in the Bank, everything, which is just fabulous. It's a proper old school gym.
Mm.
It's really, really cool. It gets hot, it gets sweaty, it gets cold. It's you would drive past it and not notice it though.
Oh, really?
It's not an all singing, all dancing. It's in an industrial unit on the main road in the East End. And you, if you didn't know it was there, you would drive right past it.
Oh, that's very interesting to know. I'll have to. Oh, not that I'm going to
It's
be up
good.
there.
I love going in and looking at all the old posters. And there's like one of BT Gunn's old shirts from an old ICW show that's splattered in blood's in a case on the wall and things like that. And
Awesome.
old posters that Wolfgang and BT Gunn have been on and on shows and things like that as well, all up on the walls and stuff. It's really cool.
Well, that's brilliant. That's a great place to be. I'd
Yeah.
love to go and have a look at that one day. I'd have to come up and see you to
I
do.
know that there's training on fairly regularly as well, and they do run shows regularly out the gym as well. So, and it's usually packed to the rafters. It's usually standing room only by the time all the fans are in, which is good. And they've got a great roster of talent on it as well.
Brilliant. That sounds like an awesome place to go to watch some wrestling and to see some the training for the future.
Yeah, well and truly, well and truly. I think the last show I was at was they had it was the debut of like I think about 5 or 6 new wrestlers made their debut. So it was a family and
Wow.
friends show. So it was cracking. It was really good to see, and it's the future of the school and the company. So exciting times.
Exciting times indeed. I've still got this hunch of seeing the Southern Six versus Gallus.
Oh, I would pop so hard for that. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that really would be just to hear that beat of the Gallus music in the NWA. And they're, and obviously Wolfie and the team, they're proper old school wrestlers as well. They would, really suit the
That would
NWA.
be good. I think seeing Wilfie versus Silas would be something.
Well, he mentioned obviously Steve Carino in the when he was talking to him just now, and you could potentially add Colby into against.
Yeah. I saw
Uh,
something recently actually that Colby. Did I see something about Colby and his dad tagging together somewhere soon?
I mean, listen,
Maybe I imagined that.
Colby and Steve versus Ricky and Kerry.
Oh, yeah,
That would be
that would be fun to see. I
incredible.
actually forgot Steve was at the PC.
Yes, he is. Wolfie's back in the room in a minute. But yeah, so quite an incredible. That would be still an incredible moment for us to
Yeah,
have Gallus in the Crockett Cup or Gallus Rock Up in the NWA.
make it happen, Billy.
Well, make it available to us in the UK,
Yeah, well,
then
that would
make
be
it
helpful
happen.
if we could see it in the first place. So,
Then make it happen, right? So then we can watch Gallus in the NWA come back on. It would be incredible. It would be an incredible moment, that's for sure, for us anyway, as NWA fans. I
definitely.
just think it would be incredible to see Gallus in that promotion. And who knows now? Obviously, free agents, and
That's it. That's it.
they can go as where they please. And Joe's already mentioned it to the world that he would like
Planting those little seeds.
planting the seeds of the NWA. I'm hoping he's joining. He's taking a long time, everybody, so apologies, but he may end up dropping off again because I've just noticed how long it's taken. I don't know whether he'll be back on this on
Maybe
this.
Eddie's been in at the cables.
Quite possibly. He did say it was 30 odd degrees out there. So it's
Yeah, roasty toasty.
roasty toasty over in
Not so roasty toasty here this evening, but still all right.
fine here. It's fine. It's warm here. We've had a bit of cloud today, but other than that, it's been pretty smooth, like we had last day.
Like
Smooth.
we had last night. I see what you did there.
Not just a pretty face, see. But yeah, we did. It was great. It was great to have him. The weather's been great, and to be fair, this interview has been great with Wolfgang. And
Oh,
maybe I'm wrong. Listen, I'm
maybe.
happy to be wrong on this. It just took a while, but we'll see if he joins us back in from.
Maybe the heat's melted his Wi-Fi signal.
We shall
Yeah.
see. We can hear you. There he is.
Yeah.
He's back. I think he's back.
Maybe.
Is he back? Are
You
you
see
back?
me?
We can see you. You're a wee bit
You
frozen,
see
but
me now?
We can see you, but you're
your
too.
lips aren't moving.
No, no. Can we see him now?
And a bit.
Well,
That's better,
that's it.
yeah.
There you go. Um,
I was just telling Adam, obviously, I've been in the gym, how I love the gym. I love all the old school memorabilia on the walls. I love all the old WrestleMania, like pay-per-view chairs that are there and everything like that. And how the last show I was at was just a few weeks ago, and it was a friends and family one where there was like 5 or 6 debuts with some of the new guys. So that was a whole ton of fun. That was good.
And it's a place like
I think we may be losing.
that. Worked for the WWE and being the UK PC and American PC. So I tried to replicate that and quite little. We get
I think we're losing you a little bit.
I know.
That's we can half hear you, half not at the moment.
It's
So
the heat. It's melting your Wi-Fi.
that's not. That's it. There's thunderstorms out here, like
that's
rolling thunderstorms, hurricane season, and the
Yeah.
internet just drops out
that's it.
like
So
that.
I think what we'll do, Wolfgang,
Um,
is we will let you just say what you've got coming up, what you can announce that you've got coming up, and where can anyone, if you've got merchandise still to be sold that you can sell, where can people get it?
so September 6th is the first match that Gallus are announced. We're coming home to
Yeah.
the Braehead Arena in Glasgow with Clan Wrestling. This is their second show. I seen the first one. I watched what I could online, seen the photos, and it looked fantastic. Myself, Mark, and Joe Coffey missed out on a few big shows in Glasgow. We were left in the sidelines while the WWE came here and they done Raw, they done Clash at the Castle, and we felt as though we should have been involved in that, and we were hungry to be involved in that, and to be left out was very disappointing. So the plan is to make up for that in September 6th when we come to Braehead for Clan Wrestling. I've been announced as facing one of my old foes, Big Demo, who, when you talk about some of the strongest guys I've been in the ring with, he's up there. Mark and Joe are in against the Kinky Party, Jack
Yeah.
Jester and Sha Samuels, four guys that know each other very well.
Yes.
And um, all three of us, Gallus, are looking forward to getting back and mixing it up with guys that we haven't done with for years. I haven't been in the ring with Demo for a long time. And he's another guy that's came through the WWE, part of Sanity. Like he's the ICW tag team champs right now. He's
Mhm.
someone that I've always looked up to in this business, not just because he's that much taller than me, but he's a good leader of, and he sets a good example for someone that runs training schools and he's a professional wrestler. He's a good guy, but he's an absolute animal in the ring.
Yes.
And I can't wait to get in there and mix it up with them. September
I know.
7th, you can catch us at the Scottish Exhibition Centre, the Scottish Event Campus, SEC. We were doing a signing as part of the fan frontier for the fans Comic Con, the Epic Comic Con, they call it this year. We'll also be putting on wrestling there with Iron Girders. So there'll be live wrestling. You'll get to see Gallus. We'll have photos. We might even have some of this cool new merchandise that I'm
Hey.
Lovely.
not showing off very well here. Um, Molly Spartan has learned a new skill this past month where she's figured out how to screen print. So all the companies over the years that I've been sending money to buying merchandise for, shout out pins and knuckles.
Mhm.
We might not need them anymore because Molly Spartan has figured out how to do it professionally. And I'll just show off the quality of this right now, but it is top notch. So
Well,
I've got a big cartel that I'll be putting.
Ah. Wonder if he's put himself.
Oh, we lost him again. No.
It's either that or the camera where he was showing us his shirt.
I don't know. But I did see that it's Casey Owens' birthday today. And Casey did post a picture earlier today of the shirt that Molly had made for her. Casey Owens, mother of Chaos, that Molly had made for her birthday today, which was very, very cool indeed. So
brilliant. That's good. Molly Spartan, good friend of the show as well. She's been on.
absolutely, absolutely.
It's good to see her, and it's good to see her at Eric Bishop as well.
Yeah,
that was good to see Molly for Inside the Ropes. We're just seeing if he's coming back.
we probably, if the weather's bad, there's a good possibility we've lost him if they've got thunderstorms again at the moment.
So what I'm going to do at this point, due to the weather, is
maybe. I think.
Can you see me now?
No.
I can hear you.
We can hear you now. Oh, we can. We can now. What I'm going to do, Wolfgang, is due to your adverse weather, we will leave it right there for now, because obviously you've got some really bad weather over in America, and we don't want to, there's thunderstorming like crazy. So we will let go to that. But Fee, coming up next week, we talk to Tom Latimer, the NWA.
We do indeed. He's in Glasgow tonight.
Is he really? Is he really? We'll go to that. Yes.
Nice.
He's taking a training seminar tonight. Tomorrow.
Yeah, we will. We will certainly do that for sure, Wolfgang. It's been great listening to you as well. Fee, we'll obviously talk on Wednesday, but he has been Wolfgang, and you can see him very soon in Glasgow in September, and hopefully in the Crockett Cup next year in WA. So until, but for Wolfgang, from Fiona, and from me, Adam Cousins, this has been Hitting the Turnbuckle Podcast. Buckle down, everybody. Stay safe and good night.